Hello, Freakopolis. TJ
And Ian.
here at the Freakopolis Geekery in Whitehall, New York with another episode of Freak Enterprise.
Oh, yes. Episode 8.
In fact. Yes, I was just thinking about that. It seems so, like such a short time ago that we were just starting this off. We're almost in the double digits now.
Indeed.
So this is our chance to tell you about some of the awesome new stuff coming to the Geekery in the next couple months. Specifically, we're looking at previewsworld.com and their February catalog, which is stuff shipping in April.
2 months.
That's right. And we got some really great picks for you this week. I think without further ado,
Let's just jump into it, yeah.
let's get into it. This, you may have seen this around before. It's not a new book. You can tell by this code up here, October of 06. But it is worth the read. It's being featured here on previewsworld.com for a number of reasons, I think.
Indeed.
It's written by Robert Kirkman. First of all, we talked a little bit about him last week.
Potentially a familiar name for many of you.
Yes, creator of The Walking Dead, and this book, Invincible. So this is Robert Kirkman's sort of, it's a superhero story,
Yes.
first of all. So like we said last week, he's great at writing those adventure comics sort of over a long arc, and this is quite the example of that.
It is.
It went, I think, 144 issues or something
here
like that.
Compendium Volume 1 for Invincible.
Right, and there's 3 of these.
Notably large book, yeah.
But totally worth the read. This here on Previews World is the volume 1.
Yes.
So it only collects issues 1 through 4. You can get the compendium here at the Freakopolis now, or this is available for inquiry as well.
So what's bringing Invincible to light, which has been regaled as not only an excellent superhero youth action story, but also a really good family drama on top of that.
Absolutely, yeah. His dad being like the most powerful being in the universe is kind of the selling point.
I don't want to speak too much to it because some people are really, really big Invincible fans, and I haven't made it too far in. However, why are we looking at this?
Well, we thought this would be a cool one to feature on the Freak Enterprise because it is coming to Amazon Prime streaming service as a cartoon with Seth Rogen attached to it. So just another example of sort of comic books being the foundation of so much of today's storytelling.
Yeah, the stuff that you're going to find on TV, and more than often in the theaters, comes from comic books, straight up.
And even if it's not something from Marvel or DC, I mean, this is kind of akin to that stuff. It's still superheroes, but it is from Image, and they are constantly pushing out some of the coolest creator-owned stories that then turn into, you know, we've seen it with, well, of course, The Walking Dead, Deadly Class, Saga has something in works. There's just a litany of these.
There's an emerging seeming investment in these new ideas.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Image kind of makes it easy because the creators own the rights. So if they want to bring it into, curse words is on the way, if they want to bring it to the silver screen or the small screen or a streaming service, you really just have to work with the creator.
Yeah, no having to negotiate with Disney's floor of lawyers.
Yes, exactly. So I think we're going to start seeing more and more of these all the time. We'll be keeping an eye on Invincible as it makes its way to Amazon Prime. But if you want to check out the story before it hits the small screen, you can pick up Invincible Trade Paperback Volume 1 Family Matters here, or
Grab the compendium if you really want to delve deep.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a commitment, but, you know, there's only 3 of those, whereas there's like a dozen or more, 20 of...
It's a cool way to have it all right in front of you.
Absolutely. And so getting into some new stuff, we've got Adventureman #1, another Image book.
Okay, we're always a fan.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of an Image fan.
Man, I wonder what this is about based on the title.
Well, it's funny. It's kind of the pitch here is that it's kind of a Venture Brothers thing in that, like, this woman here, this woman on the cover, knows the story of Adventureman, but is somehow the only one that knows it, and he's kind of like an Indiana Jones character, and she is called to sort of pick up his legacy and figure out his last mystery.
Ooh, I like it.
So she's actually the main character.
Right.
And this legacy of Adventureman sort of comes to her doorstep, and she is swept on a globe-trotting sort of mystery. And
That's a cool concept.
saga,
I like
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And I mean the names and sort of branding for this is so funny. They're very much like kind of news flashing it, you know.
Sure.
It's got this like kind of turn of the century sort of vibe to the copy here. Let's see. Adventureman ended in a heartbreaking cliffhanger with our hero facing execution at the vile hand of his ultra nemesis, Baron Bazaar, on the eve of the Macabre-apocalypse. Macabre-apocalypse.
Okay.
With a name like Freakopolis, you'd think I'd be better at that. 80 years after he disappears, this woman is sort of confronted with some things, clues that sort of tie that cliffhanger
Picking up on his
to
trail.
herself. Yeah. And so it's written by Matt Fraction, who I am quite the fan of.
Oh, yeah.
I've read his most recent image book, highlighted there. It's great. And he had a great run on Hawkeye with David Aja, too. That's
doubt.
really, really cool.
Yeah, he's done some really acclaimed Marvel work as well, if that's something you look for.
Yeah, so I like the names attached to this. We actually have a preview.
Oh, very
Our
cool.
first of the week. I think it's actually our only.
So immediately you get that depth of detail that comes from image artists giving it their all.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, they've probably had months and months to work on this thing. So, yeah, you get a really great sense of style. I really like the lighting, and this panel with the cat in the corner is super cute, too. So, yeah, you know, you get the sense that this is, you know, really... she's being confronted with this quite suddenly, clearly, with this woman.
Yeah, she's being thrown out of her normal everyday life, huh?
Yeah, and she's maybe a bookseller or
Right.
a librarian or something.
So the classic tossed from their everyday and into a mind-boggling adventure.
Exactly, yeah, and I get the sense that this woman comes to her and draws her into Adventureman's
So she may have
adventure.
found his journal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Right.
She had like a, you know, she's a used bookseller or something. And you get kind of I get a very European sense from this.
Sure.
Maybe it's the palette, you know, it's not like overblown and like super American coloring. And some of it I think is the style too.
No doubt.
So it feels kind of Parisian or something.
Certainly looks good to me. It's caught my eye straight from the get-go there, so.
Yeah, so it's fun, you know, and this may someday be coming to a streaming service near you.
No doubt.
You never know with an image book, but with a name like Matt Fraction, it very well could be. And so that is Adventureman #1, coming to shops April 29th, 2020.
All right.
Images behind it. I'm behind it. Maybe
Very
you
cool.
should be too. Up next, Marvel Zombies Resurrection #1.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh.
great cover on this, right?
Zombie Galactus. No.
Poor Galactus, he has not been having a great time.
He's been beat around.
He has, yeah. I mean, in the recent Fantastic Four series, he was captured by Doctor Doom and like put into the side of a mountain. In Thor, he has been really taking a beating,
Yep.
and now he's coming back as a zombie as he reaches for the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. There.
We were discussing today about how much Galactus captured Marvel readers back when he first appeared as this cosmic entity, and the story that he came with, and the Silver Surfer. And his image still imposes the same feelings when you look at him. And in Marvel Zombies, oh no is all I can say.
Yeah. And so Marvel Zombies, the title pretty much says it all.
Yeah.
You know, many of your favorite heroes and villains become zombies and terrorize the Marvel Universe. But funnily enough, the first series of that was actually written by Robert Kirkman as well.
Wow.
No stranger to zombies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. We have some on the shelf now, and yeah, when I
Was
saw
that prior to The Walking Dead?
it was like right around the same time.
He must have
so-
been in a zombie mood.
Yeah. This case, not written by Robert Kirkman, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. But these books are always super fun. This is a mini series, like you can see, of one. This is #1 of 4. Be nice, self-contained. It's kind of like rather a what if situation. It may have started as that originally. I can't
believe
remember.
so.
Yeah.
They're to be taken at face value.
Yeah,
you know,
but that makes it nice because like you can kind of jump into any one of these Marvel Zombies things.
yeah,
and-
there's no tie-ins
Yeah,
or big
yeah.
events. It's just this is the universe where the zombies are happening.
Right, you don't have to know that Galactus was just beaten up by Thor or whatever.
Right.
Like, you can kind of just say, oh, he's a zombie now. he's gonna try and terrorize the Marvel universe. So,
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. Always like to see these. These books are super fun, kind of just goofy and enjoyable. It can be kind of scary too.
Yeah, a little bit of gore in there for sure.
And that is also in shops on April 29th of
All right.
2020. If you're into Marvel Zombies, you can pre-order it at the Freakopolis Geekery by sending us a message here on Facebook or write an email to tj@freakopolis.com. We got a couple more books for you today. Star Wars Adventures Clone Wars #1 of 5. So Star Wars Adventures is ironically written by IDW or published by IDW. Normally Disney and Marvel sort of have the Star Wars books on lock, but the Star Wars Adventures is kind of their like all ages publication for with like little mini arcs that can explore any given part of the Star Wars universe. But now they're doing their first sort of mini series of the Clone Wars, which I always like. Give me more of that. I'll take it. Like,
It's some of the best setting for Star Wars.
Yeah, anything of Anakin and Obi-Wan running around, killing droids and stuff, and hunting down Count Dooku is I'm in. So yeah, you get this really cool graphic cover of Annie and Obi-Wan and some of the clone troopers, but I really like what they did
with the explosion there.
Yeah, in the clone trooper helmet. Of course, this doesn't have trade dressing or anything, but if that's indicative of the art style, we don't have a previous preview, unfortunately.
I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of a lighter feel and tone for. Don't expect like Kieran Gillen's Darth Vader or something. This is gonna be a little more. Oh yeah, it kind of does look like
right
the Genndy Tartakovsky
90s
Clone
show.
Wars. Yeah.
That's very cool. And then this is coming near the brink of the finally arriving season of Clone Wars.
That's right. Yeah, it's definitely tying into that.
Yeah, so that's trying to get you in the mood to wrap up this epic story that they've been telling.
Yeah. But evidently, they still have stories to tell.
Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me, Michael Morse's on this book. He's written one of my favorite sci-fi books, Wasted Space, which is a really fun vault book. And he's a super talented and imaginative writer. So I'm into seeing his name attached to it. And, give me more Clone Wars.
No doubt.
All the time, forever, basically. And speaking of Vault Comics, we have one final book today. 100 Wolves #1, written by Mike Cole, who is a celebrated author, as it says in this copy here. He's a fantasy author.
Very cool.
And this is kind of like, I get the sense it's maybe a sort of historical, like, Mongolian assassin couple story. Which I know is a weird pitch, but basically these two sort of retired assassins fell in love, retired to the steppes, but are drawn back into the fight and now have a daughter that they feel they need to sort of either shield from that or protect from certain other things that are happening too. So
so at first glance then, it seems pretty straightforward. With the historical elements, obviously the family protection angle, and the super skilled assassin pair. That's all stuff that I like for sure.
Right.
What is going to draw me towards this, it looks like, and separate it from the others, is the art style. Straight off the get-go, we can see that they have a rather inspired-looking cover there.
Yeah. I mean, clearly, it seems like many people are gunning for these 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I mean, I like to feature Vault Comics because I think they're really putting out some top quality stuff.
Their stuff is premium.
Yeah, it's the not only in the writing and in the art, they find really great creative teams, and I think people are recognizing that because they've been on just like an exponential climb.
Yeah, just the material of a Vault comic feels good in the hands.
Too,
yeah,
absolutely. They've had like hit after hit, like Wasted Space, like I mentioned before, Deep Roots, Money Shot, These Savage Shores,
and now
Sarah in the Fallen Star Wars, something like that.
Now 100 Wolves is trying to reach that echelon.
Yeah. I mean, they're constantly, they don't put out a ton of books, but they've got about 1 or 2 new ones each month that are, they continue to knock it out of the park. So I like to give them some love because I think they're doing really cool stuff. And the 2 editors are brothers, so it's kind of like, I feel a little kinship with them.
No doubt. Well, yeah, this, it's catching my eye immediately. I'd like to see how it ends up setting itself apart narratively as well.
Yeah, it's not catching cover for sure. And Mike Cole has quite the pedigree, so I'm sure he'll do something really fun with it.
Awesome.
And that is also in shops on April 29th. So what was that? 3 out of our 4 books today.
It's going to be a big week then.
Yeah, definitely. It's an exciting week.
Awesome.
And so that does it. Check out Invincible, Adventureman, Marvel Zombies Resurrection, Star Wars Adventures Clone Wars, and 100 Wolves at previewsworld.com. Let us know if we can pull any of these for you. I'm super stoked for them. This weekend at the Freakopolis Geekery.
Get your hero clicks and your comics off the shelf at 20% off.
That's right.
Some people have already taken advantage of this, and I am looking forward to the pulls they get and the tales they tell from those comics they've read.
Yeah, we sold a bunch of singles hero clicks like the Thanos and Mr. Sinister, as well as some other cool stuff. So, yeah, people are definitely into that. And that's lasting through tomorrow, too. We're open 11 to 5.
And tomorrow, you can also catch what's going on around here. Star Wars Legion comes to the tables once again, and we are going to have, I'm sure, some newcomers and some veterans with more than enough figures to spare.
Yeah, we have a growing community for this game, some real champions that are heading up the, it being featured on our tables, and we have stuff in stock as well. So great group that we're really happy to host here and have been really enjoying learning the game and painting the figures and collecting the armies.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I mean,
all the blaster and lightsaber noises you could imagine.
Yes, constantly. Awesome. So that is tomorrow from 2 to 5. We'd love to have you swing by the Geekery. If you can't make it tomorrow, we're open Wednesday through Sunday. We'll have new books on Wednesday and would love to see you by the Geekery.
Thanks so much for watching, guys.
You.
We'll catch you later.
See ya.